Moral hazard is a system of hidden as well, but hidden action, not information. Once you sign the contract, then it's a problem of moral hazard. Okay? Technically speaking, it arises when the two parties to the contract share the same information, up to the point at which the informed party, or one of the party, supposedly the better informed one, selects his or her action at this point. Okay? The same information up to the point. Up to this point. Holding this constant, so share the same information. Holding constant information up to this point of signing the contract. After the signing the contract, the first day at work, under the employment contract, the uninformed party to the contract can observe only the outcome or a payoff, but not the action itself. Okay, when you hire someone to work, you have a shop, you own a shop, you hire someone to work in the shop for you, shop assistant. Okay, there's a lot of sale, okay, a lot of revenue, a lot of income, a lot of customers coming into the shop. One day, another day, not so many. Okay, and the shop does not generate a lot of sale. What happens? Is that to do with just being a quiet day, or was that the shop assistant was a bad shopkeeper on the first day, so customers learn about it and don't come back to the shop, don't come back to buy bakery from your shop anymore. So on the first day, the shop assistant that you hire claims that well, it's good this and that. He or she works so hard, being so good. Okay, and then on the second day, well, just another quiet day. Is it because your shop assistant was a horrible person, being horrible, being nasty, being unfriendly to customers, being unhelpful? Is that possible? You don't observe that, you just observe the outcome. Okay, so that's moral hazard. Okay. So with moral hazard, in the context of an employment contract, okay, it is the employer who's typically uninformed of the worker's choice of efforts or true incentives. Okay, in other words, we can think of moral hazard as, okay, in an employment contract, in a contract, right? I'm your employee. Okay, you pay me to work for you. Do you pay me to work for you, actually? Yeah, tuition fees. Okay. So you want me to work hard for you? Okay. I'll work very hard for you. Very hard. Okay. Now, in our contract here, right, you employ me. Can you include my incentives, true incentives, in the terms and conditions of the contract? I actually have incentives to be lazy, just to get by. Yeah, just teach along whatever textbook, right? Whatever standard course materials, and just go blah 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 in front of class and give some easy exam questions. Yeah, some students do very well, some students do not so well, but okay, then after all I get paid and that's it. That's actually my incentives, to minimize input, my input into the teaching, okay, into the preparing lecture notes or delivering lecture materials, okay, or being a bad shop assistant, being a lazy shop assistant. Don't take care of customers, or even remember, okay, this is a regular customer, right? Remember their preference. Okay, they prefer this, they like this. Now they like this type of bread, we have a new variation, for example, then suggest a new variation and explain, okay, showing to the customers that we pay good attention to them as our valued customers, or just sit behind the counter and say 15 baht with rum or with raisin, with whatever, 28 baht. Ting ting at the till, that's it. Don't answer any question or show clear unwillingness to talk to customers. That's my incentive, to be lazy, to minimize my input. Can we include my incentives, okay, to work hard, to take care of customer in the employment contract? The employment contract may say this. Now, whenever you don't come to the shop, I deviate from the contract. Can we include this in the terms and conditions of the contract? Whenever you don't visit the shop, inspect the shop, right? As the employer, right? Whenever, or behind your back, I still work hard. Can we specify this and enforce this in the contract? Say that this is the terms and conditions in the contract, part of it, right? But can we enforce? Can't enforce. Okay. Now, let's say in one afternoon, right, I say that, look, I've got a bad headache. One afternoon, I need a quick break, a quick nap. But it sounds like a siesta. Right, afternoon sleep in Spain. Okay. I want to take absence, right, one afternoon, close the shop. Well, I get fixed pay. Right, it's your problem, the shop owner's problem, not my problem. Right, but I want to have a nap. I say headache. Can you prove? Can you prove on the spot? Can you prove? By the time you take me to doctor, I have slept, I've recovered, I'm fine. Thank you. Can you prove migraine? When you say migraine, right now, migraine. Get in a car, nice aircon, go to the doctor, I'm well now. Feeling quite well, feeling quite alright. And that's it. Actually, why would they want to take absence? Maybe you had a good meal during lunch break and they want a nap. So I have a headache. So one afternoon, Sunday afternoon, I don't want to turn up. I say I have bad headache, I'm ill, I'm sick. Can you prove that I'm sick? You're my employer, you pay the fees. Can you prove? Can't prove. I don't need to produce doctor's certificate for 1 day of sick leave. I just take 1 day of sick leave. I don't need to show that. Right. But a quick headache, go to see a doctor. The doctor would give doctor's certificate. Whenever I have a headache, I can't drive to see a doctor anyway. So, anyway, okay. So that's another example. Okay. Now, in firm, let's say complex organization with more complex structure, we have a general manager, right, and plant managers or floor managers. So the general manager is the boss of the floor managers, effectively employer of the floor manager. Okay, so general manager basically cannot observe the floor manager's daily actions. All they know is that it's from the time card, okay, stamp or now the pressed fingerprint. In the morning, walk into the factory. In the afternoon, walk out. That's all they know, turning up. During the day, what floor managers do, how hard the floor managers work, the general manager cannot observe that. Okay? Because being a general manager, have to look after other operations as well. Okay? So what general manager can observe is only the reported periodic profitability of the divisions. Every month, for example. Internal reporting, there'll be monthly. Okay, you can get monthly reporting. Okay, every month. 1 month, good. very good performance. Next month, very poor performance. But general managers observe the same thing, right? Floor managers go to work, turn up at work, no sick leave, no holiday, no whatever, no leave. They go to work. 5 o'clock come out, no problem reported, everybody is happy. All the workers go to work, right? And 5 o'clock, shut down the plant, they go and all go home, same thing. But one period, good performance, next period, not so good, period after, yeah, up a bit, several levels of observed levels of output, okay? But one set of efforts is only observed, right? They go to work. They don't observe actions, just going to work. Through efforts, no. Okay. So, when the performance is down, is it possible that it just due to some external factors beyond floor manager's control? Possible. Is it possible that the relatively poor performance is due to poor efforts by floor managers? Possible as well. Okay, so what could be the solution? Perhaps offer some contract that is optimal, has optimal structure, ex ante, which is pay based on output. Yeah? In performance, at the end of the day, performance is good for whatever reason, you get the money, you get the pay raise. If not good, even though you work hard, good efforts, bad luck, lower pay. Okay. So basically, employer could try to offer an optimal contract to the worker, right? That pays the worker based on observed profitability or output or performance. Okay? But then again, this optimal or contract with this kind of optimal structure, right, is not possible in reality, because there are things, many things in the contract that are part of the contract, that is, in particular, incentives are not contractible, are incontractable, cannot be written as enforceable terms and conditions of the contract. Okay? Now, well, basically, just think of the situation where the general manager does not know the precise relationship between workers or floor managers' efforts and profitability. As a boss, do you want to promote your subordinate for luck? Or punish, promote because of, due to good luck, good performance, so promote. Bad luck, poor performance. Poor performance due to bad luck. Do you want to punish them for that? Good workers, but somehow bad luck, get punished. Do you think the good ones will stay for long? Won't stay for long. Does this exist in reality? Yes, it does exist. Okay, so optimal contract is not possible, it's not feasible, right? Due to elements of incontractability. Incentives are not contractible. Why are incentives incontractible? Because of moral hazard. You don't get to observe this. Okay? Now let's put this moral hazard problem into a business context. Imagine annual report. In an annual report, the annual report is important because inside of annual report are financial statements. Right? How many sets of financial statements are there in annual report? The accountant will say 2 or 3, right, from previous years. But there's still one set, holding constant time. right, for any particular period of time or at any point in time. Period of time would be income statement. At any point in time, right, as at would be the balance sheet. Okay? So, holding constant time anyway. There's only one set in annual report. But in reality, from manager's perspective, from the informed party's perspective, there could be different sets, could be different scenarios. Okay? So let's take a look at this information problems in the context of income statement. Right. So we have revenue, cost of goods sold, manager's wage is fixed, operating income, interest expense, blah, blah, blah. Actually, we can do away with interest expense, this line, because it's constant across scenarios. But then again, this is a finance cost, how come there's no financial expense? So let's put it there, for the sake of having interest expense, right? Otherwise, people will say, oh, this is unrealistic. This example is unrealistic. There's no interest expense. Firms borrow, but come on, we need to hold it constant anyway. But anyway, let's have it. Okay, so level 1, let's call this efforts level 1. Okay, managers spend efforts, their true efforts at level 1. Revenue 1,000, cost of goods sold 500, the wage fixed 300, operating income 200, blah blah blah. Net profit available to shareholders, residual income for shareholders, available to shareholders. This is residual, right? Whatever remains, okay, in the firm, 150. At level 2, firm or shareholders say, let's motivate the manager a bit better, pay more, and let's see what comes out. Okay, what comes out is greater revenue, lower cost, more efficient, right? More revenue and being more efficient as well. Of course, pay managers a little bit more, that's fine, no problem, right? It's a win-win situation here. Managers get paid more, operating income is higher, so net profit more than doubles, right? This is lovely. Win-win. Managers get paid more as well. But because of moral hazard, it's managers who know this, right? Okay, they're going to pay 100 baht more, but this is achievable. We will achieve this. This is also achievable as well, becoming more cost efficient. Okay, all right. But look, I'm in control. I'm the manager. How about the same? And let's consume on the job or extract private benefit of control was 50 baht and label it, right? Hide it in the cost of goods sold. Okay, yeah, I get paid this. Hey, look, at the end of the day, it's still double. The profit still doubles. As a manager, do you think my incentive is to go to level 2, spend efforts at level 2 or level 3?
2.
2?
Yeah.
Why?
Because we don't know the manager maybe put.
No, I'm the manager. I'm the manager. You think my incentive is at level 2 or level 3?
3.
Why? You think I'm a bad guy? Level 3. Level 3, yeah. But your shareholders, your residual income, your residual gain still doubles. The situation still looks fantastic. In reality, you think you observe level 2? No, there's no scenarios for you to compare shareholders. You observe only one set of output. There are many choices of efforts that I can, among which I can choose to spend. I can spend, right? But you observe only one. Okay. So 50 here, we can call this private benefit of control. Why is it called private benefit of control? No need to memorize stuff. People in my species are not very creative when it comes to name, to thinking, giving names, calling things. This is a benefit to me. Is this benefit shared with shareholders? No, it's private to me. And I can derive this benefit if and only if I'm in control of the asset. Hence the term private benefit of control. Okay? So if you see this term when you read papers or articles, when you do your dissertations, okay, it means this. Or sometimes you come across the term on-the-job consumption, consume on the job. Manager consumes on the job. It means the same thing. Okay? Right. So what could be the problems for shareholders in this case? Let's say you observe level 3. Being rational, you expect moral hazard. You expect that there could have been level 2. Okay. First up, before signing the contract, you want to know whether I'm actually the manager who have incentives to go to level 3. Strong incentives or not very strong incentives to go to level 3. Right? 1, 2, can you observe 50 here, the 50 baht difference? You may be able to observe, but can you verify it as on the job consumption? You may be able to work out the 50 baht difference, but would you be, as shareholders, would you be able to verify that or claim for sure that it is on the job consumption by me? It's deviation from the employment contract. You can't. I could have said, look, for example, okay, I have a mate, I have a friend who can supply the same raw material, right? And my friend is in sort of trouble. I want to help out my friend. The firm has got quite a bit of cash on hand, quite a bit of excess free cash flow, cash rich. Okay, I help my friend. Right? You are my in my team, one of my boys. Okay, so that's my mate in the corner. Right? So we in the meeting, we go, okay, I'll buy raw materials from you, mate. No problem. Okay, at the price above the market price, a bit more expensive. I help my friend. Okay, for the same goods, the quality is exactly the same, right? So let's assume that. Okay, so his supplies would not affect the operations, the production, not at all, no problem at all. I just want to pay more. Could they do this? But then people above me, right, could be the board of directors or CEO or whatever, could ask, hey, look, for the same thing, why pay more? How could I justify that? Oh, yeah, we want to ensure quality. I want to ensure quality, right? So we need to cover ourselves, make sure that if the finished goods have whatever defects, we want to take that back from our customers straight away, right? Replace, give immediate replacement. So in this case, we need some cover. Now in the current market environment, we want to improve our image, right? Send a message, use whatever marketing terminology to tell customers that we are super top-notch quality, right, for our goods, our class of goods. So I asked my mate to give me some sort of guarantee of quality of his supplies. But do we need it? It's raw material. Let's say some sort of water, right? Or supply some sort of gas, okay, natural gas. Okay, he's the middleman, let's say. It's all the same thing. Okay, but he guarantees this and that. I justify this better contract. He guarantees, so our operations is smooth. So far it's been good, but we want to take extra cover. And the price that we pay, of course we pay higher price. But the contract, right, supplies of higher quality, we can't really prove the quality of the supplies, right? This type of supplies. Say, let's say glass cullets, right, glass beads. It goes into the furnace, right, and melt and becomes insulation, that sort of thing, right? He said he can guarantee. But I know that whatever the stuff that he sells can't go wrong. Is a guarantee, this kind of guarantee or warranty needed? No, it's not needed anyway. But I get him to write that for free, at no cost to him. Right? So I get to pay more and can justify to board of directors on. And after all, that shouldn't be a problem in any case, simply because this is the base efforts level. I work harder, and I say, now by doing this, profit doubles. We get to sell more, profit double, but it could have been higher. Okay. So shareholders cannot observe this. These are my incentives. You can't observe, okay, as shareholders. All right. So with the existence of information asymmetry, there are agency problems. Okay, this is what the finance literature calls. Okay, so basically one party deviates from the best interest of the other party to a transaction. And this deviation, which is a direct result of moral hazard, okay, is important as it leads to the conflicts of interest or agency conflicts. This is what's called in the finance literature. And agency conflict is a significant problem because it gives deadweight loss or agency cost, which is quite significant. Okay? What does it mean, deadweight loss? Okay. With this example of 50 baht here on the job consumption. If you are rational and you expect moral hazard, and if you observe this level, straight away, you would expect existence of level 2 as well. It's just that you can't confirm. Okay, you just can't confirm. So let's suppose you have some suspicion, right? That's you expect a positive probability of the on the job consumption here, okay, of 50. We're going to get at what it means by deadweight loss, okay, or finance literature, or Jensen Meckling call this residual loss, which is deadweight loss, deadweight. There will always be this kind of loss, as long as there's a contractual relationship, okay. Now you expect this, what would you do, rationally speaking? Let's say, install some monitoring device, mechanism, right? To see if how I talk to him in the room. Okay? So 50, that's the amount of on-the-job consumption. You want to increase it or you want to reduce it? You want to reduce it, right? Let's say you invest 15. When you, as a result of investing 15, this amount comes down to 10. Right, installing this surveillance camera or some monitoring device, right, to monitor me, right, on the job consumption comes down to 10. Okay, so the agency cost in this case, the cost of the conflict of interest, right, is 15, because you have to take action, invest to reduce the cost. Okay, 15. The cost is 15 plus 10, total agency cost. Because 10 is what remains, right? And 10 is a result of hiring me to run the firm, to run the operation. If shareholders, or you, that's one, suppose there's one owner, runs the firm, right, that it would be this, 350, level 2, okay? So it's 15 plus 10. What's the benefit? Benefit is 35. Yeah? Is it worth it to monitor in this case? It is worth it. So the question is, why not get rid of all? Why is 10 remain? Why does 10 still remain? Because in reality, to get rid of all the 10, we may have to invest an amount much larger than 50. in this case, let's leave it there. This is the optimal amount of action to be taken to minimize, not to get rid of, to minimize agency cost, okay, or deviation, okay, or to minimize the conflict of interest. So the agency cost is the cost of taking action to reduce or to minimize on the job consumption, the result of the conflict of interest plus whatever remains. Okay. So that's agency cost. This is what it means by deadweight loss. And as Jensen and Meckling show, okay, there will always be residual loss or agency plus the cost of, say here, 15 in any contractual relationship, agent-principal relationship. Okay. Now let's take a look at some details to see how agency problems evolve. Okay. Let's suppose there's a landowner once upon a time, okay, a landlady if you like, and farmers, and a farmer. A landowner and a farmer. A landowner owns the land, of course. So if you own an asset and being rational, what would you want to see? An asset represents your wealth. Assuming rational utility maximization, you would want to increase and maximize the value of the land, and hence your wealth. Okay? You want to do that. You have land. Back 300-400 years ago, the only thing that's possible on the land would be to set up an Airbus factory. No, to do farming, right? A landowner, typically back in England, right? Landlords, landladies don't know how to farm. It is the poor farmers that are good at farming. But the poor farmers don't own land, don't have wealth. Okay, let's take this condition as given. What if the two meet? The two people meet? What do you think would happen? If they're rational, there'll be a handshake, business relationship. Okay, so the landlady would say to the farmer that, okay, come work for me. Okay, and the farmer say, okay, good. Okay, we make some earnings here. Okay, so whenever now there's a business relationship, they're in a contract. Okay, the farmer will work for the landlady, work on the farm. Okay, what the landlady wants out of this contract is to maximize her cut of the contract. Same pie, same cut. If the cut for the landlady is big or gets bigger, the cut that remains for the farmer will get smaller. Got to be small, and vice versa. Okay, this is basically where conflict of interest starts. Okay, so holding constant the farm's revenue, the size of the pie, the size of the cake, right? The larger the cut for the farmer, the larger the agency cost to the landlady, borne by the landlady. Okay, the cost of having an agent, right, to do farming on the land. Okay, for the landowner. Now let's say that's still situation of efforts level 3. Okay, profit, residual profit is still positive and increasing. Right, the more activity done on the farm, the larger the amount of profit. Okay, in other words, assuming increasing return to scale, the farm would gradually get larger and larger. There's still more money. Okay, in terms of rate, still less, right? Rate is smaller, could be fine too. Okay, but if there's still money there, right, still some profit. Increase the size of the farm, right, by 10%. Okay, the rate of return could be a bit lower, but still positive. So net is still positive. Why not? Okay. So the farms get larger and larger, and once the farm gets very large, it becomes CP. With CP all. You know CP? You know CP, right? CP started out as chicken farm, I think, or whatever farm, right? And then animal feeds, and then now they farm telephone. CP farms what else? Cars, grow cars,
television,
phone, and
television, true.
yeah, grow TV as well. Okay, right. So there'll be CP is full of complex economic activities. Right. For example, okay, economic arrangements. Okay, so these arrangements will be between contractual arrangements. In other words, landlady, right, the owner of CP, and each of the managers, as well as among the managers or hired farmers on the land. Okay, there could be pigs farm, crops farm, venison farm, salmon farm if the land size of the land is big enough. Okay. So these very complex arrangements basically symbolize basically a more a real business, a firm, if you like. Okay, which can be viewed as nexus of contracts. Okay, this is a contracting theory of the firm. The firm is viewed as a nexus of contract. So farmers are in the contract to work on behalf. In the contract, written rules, written terms and conditions, work in the best interest of the landlady, of the employer. Okay, there are also multiple or many coordination contracts among the multiple farmers working on the land. Okay, and contracts between landlady and the farm suppliers as well as customers. Contracts everywhere. Okay, this is why a firm is viewed as a nexus of contract. So, given moral hazard and assuming utility maximization, but I'm going to use the term bounded rationality, right? Which means basically moral hazard. Okay, people are rational, but they don't monitor. They don't. So the landlady is rational, but how come this landlady not go to the farm and monitor the farmers? Because landlady does not know how to do farming, so wouldn't have a clue. Even when the landlady goes into the farm and observe how farmers talk to pigs, talk to their pigs, talk to their cattle, okay, talk to the deer in the venison farm. Okay, the landlady still can't tell whether, well, the farmers are being nice to the animals on the farm. Okay, give the right feed, good quality feed, this is the right timing, and so on. Okay, so the landlady, we can say, has limited information and 24 hours a day, limited attention and limited skills. Okay, and also opportunism, another condition. Given these two conditions, one bounded rationality, which is basically one for another way, if you like, generally speaking, to say moral hazard, opportunism, utility maximization, being opportunistic. Okay, whenever there's opportunity, you make a profit. Okay, so given these two conditions, right, the complexity of the farming activities on the land will allow or give room to what the technical term says, self-interest seeking withdrawal. Basically, cheating by either the landlady or the farmer. Okay, things that get so complex, it's hard to observe incentives, hard to observe true efforts. So there's a lot of room for cheating by both sides, okay, of the contract. For example, the landlady may want to take undue advantage of the farmers want to take undue advantage likewise of the landlady. Okay, both, if possible, will try to cheat each other to maximize their own utility. Okay. So what could landlady do to cheat farmers? Okay, think about it. Farmers could become lazy. But what about landlady? What about the employer? How could employer cheat employee? Are you all employed or self-employed? You employed by firm? You think you get cheated by your firm? Don't take. Okay, right. So let's note here before moving on that bounded rationality, moral hazard, unobservability, right, incontractable incentives, and being opportunistic are necessary conditions for agency problems. There will be agency problems if there are these two elements. Okay, necessary but not yet quite sufficient. Okay, so in the, say, modern finance context, okay, Jensen and Meckling, I like this quote from Jensen, this sentence from Jensen and Meckling. If both parties to the relationship are utility maximizers, then there is a good reason to believe that the agent to the relationship here is to a contract. Okay, then the agent will not, there's a good reason to believe the agent will not always act in the best interest of the principal, to deviate from terms and conditions of the contract, that is. Okay, so in the context of this quote from Jensen and Meckling, the agent would be the farmers and the principal would be the landlady. Now, risk asymmetry, information, right? It's not, information is different on the two sides of, to the contract. Okay, the principal or the landlady here in this case would be ill-equipped to monitor the farmer's behavior. Can't monitor. Okay. What about the agents? They have incentive. Farmer have incentives to deviate from the terms and conditions of their employment contract, of the agreed employment contract. Okay, and the farmers will deviate, have incentives and will deviate if deviating or doing so will give them some gain. There's something in it. Increase their marginal utility. But if deviating from the terms and conditions of the contract, right, or deviating from the best interest of the other side of the contract, would not give them any gain, would you deviate? No, that would be a waste of time. Yeah? If you become, in our income statement example, if I became lazy, right, I help my friend, my mate, okay, and even that my mate is not better off, or my mate does not need help. My friend does not need help. He's in a financially strong position, his business. Would I, why would I need to buy supplies from him, raw materials from him, at the price above the market price? There's no need. Yeah, he doesn't need my help. When I help him, there's no point, right? He doesn't need help. He's doing quite well. Okay, so there's no marginal increase in my utility in this case. Of course, I have room to do that. I'm in control. I can do that. There's moral hazard. Okay, you as shareholders wouldn't be able to observe my deviation, can't verify my deviation, but I wouldn't deviate because there's no need to. It wouldn't make me better off. Right? I help my friend and I become better off if and only if my friend needs help from me. Okay. So in the presence of adverse selection, before signing the contract. Okay, before signing the contract. Let's pull the two types of information asymmetry together. Before signing of the contract, the landlady is faced with the possibility of hiring the wrong farmer. Could be dumb farmer, unskillful farmer, okay, or guileful farmer, dishonest, potentially dishonest, opportunistic. Okay. What about honest farmer? You don't want to work as a farmer. You wouldn't, as an employee, right? You wouldn't work for the wrong firm, right? You want to work for a firm that could offer you career paths, good career paths, not a firm that say they will promote you this and that, but at the end of the day, actually, there's no such policy. If you knew that the firm has no such policy, cannot offer career paths to you, you would want larger pay as compensation for you to be happy to work for the firm. Yeah, a smaller firm, you quit a large firm, okay, to work for a smaller firm. Would you be happy with the same wage, or you need higher pay, right? Yeah, because it's a smaller firm. Why is that? Well, opportunities are not the same, so you need compensation. Okay, so the problem facing you is, well, is the pay offered by the smaller firm, this smaller firm is actually high enough? Or if they say, okay, it's not very high, but they say they give bonus. Really? Okay, so that's before signing of the contract. Okay. Now, after signing the contract, the employer, the firm, or the landlady can never, you, to say you employer, you can never observe me as a farmer, my choice of efforts directly. Okay? And you're not so sure. Okay? You're not so sure whether the good performance one year or one season is actually from my skills or just good weather condition. Just good weather. Let's say I'm a winemaker. You own a vineyard. You're rich, you own a vineyard. I work in the winery. Okay. One year it's been drought. Right, the year before last, let's say last year was very wet. Okay, a lot of rain, a lot of good rainfall. Wine not so. Okay, you don't know much about winemaking, but this year has been pretty dry. So wine is very good. The grapes are good, right? Okay, not full of water, just water. We get good grapes who give good flavor, right? Good quality wine. Is that me or just the weather condition? But if you don't know this relationship, how would you be able to tell whether, well, wine this year, this year production, wine, let's say, I think it's 2010 in Europe or French or whatever, 2000, will fetch a very good price. Is it me? Because I worked hard on that year. My skill that year, or just very hot weather, very dry. So it's good for wine production. Which one? Okay. So if you can't observe this, then of course there's a problem. Okay. Similarly, the employer, let me put this in a corporate context. During the subprime crisis in the US. When was this? Last year, right? No, 2008, 2009. When was the 1997 Asian financial crisis? 1997. Okay. So this is 2008, 2009. Okay. There was a lot of speculation in Thailand that it was going to be much worse than the 1997 crisis. Okay, but anyway, of course, I didn't buy any of that, right? Because the financial conditions of the East Asian economies are much different from back then. Okay, but anyway, people love saying stuff. But what got me excited during this crisis was the information that I was told, okay, that several firms, I was told by the employees in the firm, several firms were trying to do something along the line of strategic default, right? They're saying that, okay, it's a prime crisis, everybody is affected around the world because the crisis comes from the world's major economy, which is the US, right? And things, got bad subsequently in Europe as well and around the world. Now we can't, our clients are not financially strong, so we can't collect bills. You with me? We can sell, but we can't collect bills. Okay, so our cash conversion cycle gets longer, right? We generate sales, but we can't convert the sales into cash. You can't collect, right? Collect our bills, collect money. Okay, but anyway, we're in the same family. We've been a very good family. We've gone through rough time for many rounds. So we want to keep all of our family intact. Don't want to fire anybody. Want to keep all of the employees. So this year, no bonus. If you're willing to go without bonus or much smaller bonus, then we can carry on. But the firm is not that effective. This particular firm, right, is a sort of IT firm, right, that supplies services to government sectors as well. So it takes a long time to collect their bills anyway. And to sort of provide IT services or planning or doing stuff for big hospitals, private hospitals. They're not effective. These guys do not export directly to US. But of course, right, it's just the staff, the personnel in the finance section that would know this. Let's say if you work in the finance section, will you keep your mouth shut about this and go along with the top management and say no bonus? Yeah, we need to be careful with the financial situation, right? We want to keep everybody employed, right? To go through this tough period together, and we'll come out in a good shape. Yeah, because if you said anything, you lose your job, right? In the right, in the private sector, right? Do as you're told. Okay, so this happens, right? So basically, this is an example of landlady, okay, landlady or employer exploiting employee. Okay, that firm didn't go bust, but there was news, not just for this firm, many other firms as well. Okay, including firms owned by my friends. Okay, so anyway, I couldn't do anything about it, but it's ethically it wasn't right. But they just wanted to go along and take advantage of the situation. Again, moral hazard. Okay, the employees who are not directly involved in looking at the portfolio of income of the firm wouldn't have a clue, of course. Okay, they don't even know the cost structure of it. Okay, so these are agency problems. Employers are agents for employees as well, in a way. You confused? Manage the labor. You supply, you give labor to the firm, right? The firm then manages the labor, your labor, to generate income and then pay you at the end of the month. Okay? So there are agency problems here, right? Jens and Meckley suggest that to control for the agency problem, to keep the outcome of moral hazard down, there could be two specific solutions or contractual arrangements as solutions. One, monitoring. as we have discussed, monitoring, looking over the shoulder, right? Or hiring board of directors, that's monitoring, okay? And bonding. Whatever they are, of course, they have cost, and hence the term agency cost, okay? Technically speaking, monitoring cost is the cost or the director fees are the cost of ensuring that the terms of the contract are adhered to. CEO work according to the contract or as they should, right? The board hires CEO in principle. Okay. Bonding cost pretty much the same, but this is the cost of restricting or preventing or ex ante, if you like, restricting managers or CEO's ability to deviate from the contract. What could be an example of bonding? One of the things that have struck me over the years is that starting from undergraduate students, the fourth year students, the third year, fourth year students, to me they're old enough not to ask for examples. Right? This is, in principle, this is the lecture materials. Try to make sense, rationalize the lecture materials by looking for examples by themselves. Somehow they've never done that. Somehow this is what I was made to do when I was during the last year of my undergrad studies in my master's degree. Things have changed, obviously. Okay. What's an example of bonding? Restricting. Example of an action that restricts CEO's ability, right, to deviate from the contract, from best interests of shareholders.
IT systems.
Sorry?
IT systems to make it all more systematic, that everything would be proven and traced.
Yeah, okay, but that would be monitoring in and of itself.
Penalties.
Sorry?
Penalties.
In what way?
Could be financial penalties of sort to be released from the contract.
Yeah, okay, offering, right, in the contract, that's penalties, agreeing to penalties. Okay. An example of agreeing to penalties, right, or in the case of IT, agreeing to have surveillance camera, right. This is, think about this, is this equivalent to giving out forecasts? I'm the CEO. I give out forecasts in the annual report. Next year, annual report for this year, right? Year ended here. Looking forward, this is not part of audited financial statements. Because auditors looking, right? That's for the past, right? Past year. Now looking forward, this is what I expect. I say this. So I bond myself. Right? So if I don't achieve that, whatever I said, the forecast, my forecast, I get punished, right? If I miss my forecast, I get punished. So another example is management forecast. Or offering to have some device, some monitoring, some IT device, right? Because the act of offering is the act of restricting my ability. Okay. What would be the cost then? Monitoring cost, I would say on average could be more obvious than monitoring cost would be more obvious than bonding cost. What would be bonding cost? Let's go back to income statement example. And let's say these are forecasts. Right? These are for the next year. What I could, the story that I could give in the annual report. Which scenario would I use to make up the story? Level 2 or level 3? Level 3. Actually, I could just say 250. Would 250 be a big improvement over 150? Yes, huge. Right? I want kids 300, even 300, let alone 350. I would probably give efforts level 4. Right? The bottom line is 250. And then I hit 300. Oh, how would I look? I look like a hero. Is this what happens? Is this what happens? Alice here, looking at Alice. Have you heard of what's it called? Expectation management hypothesis. Walking Alice down the road. I give you this forecast, right? And then I revise, I do things that will make you revise the forecast down the road. Right. And then for the December forecast, okay, not quarterly, not for the quarterly performance, for the annual performance, I just beat your forecast. And when I beat your forecast, I won't beat by much. I would just beat just a little bit. Okay. So this hypothesis in the accounting literature is called meet or beat hypothesis. Meet, just meet or beat. Would you want to beat by that much? Let me ask you. Okay, anyway, let's do everything this first. Let's finish this off first. So the cost is to set expectation for 250. What's the cost to shareholders? Shareholders wouldn't get even 300, right? Would get 250. That's the cost. Lower wealth. Okay. Right. Now, we are towards year end now. We in finance. The set level is 1700, right? Say before the last quarter, were there talks about the set level going, set index going close to 1800? Yeah, going very high. But then again, my students, okay, alumni here of this program, they work as analysts, okay. Of course, they don't know exactly their salary. They don't know because they get paid quite a bit, so they don't really know exactly. But anyway, we talk. I don't really follow stuff like this, so I asked them, where's the set index will be this year? Where will the set index be? One of them said, could be around 1700. The other one said, never that much higher than 1700. Most definitely, long time ago. Highly unlikely to be 1800. Highly unlikely. Could be above, a bit above 17. You know the reason why? This fits theory, right? It fits coordination. I can't remember the hypothesis, but it's let's call this coordination model among coordination among institutional trades. Okay. Well, basically, if this year is 18, the set index went to 1800, what will it have to be next year? Higher than 18, right? They need to book profit. Yeah? Institutions. If this year is 1800, and if next year it comes down to 1700, that's a loss. Right? So they have to work harder to make it 1900. So this year could be 1700, up from 1600. It could have been higher if they buy and hold. But they're not going to do that because the price will be too high. To me, this reminds me of the cost of bonding. Right? So if we are unit holders in funds, we have already invested in funds, okay, and our fund, our institutional managers coordinate, okay, and say, look, okay, let's hold back. If we all buy, there'll be price impact. Okay, price will go up. So this year we have to report, let's say 17, 18 or 17, 19. What will be next year? What will it have to be next year? Okay, so to me it's similar to bonding cost here. I'm not going to say it's even 300, I'll just say 250. All right. I'll see you. We meet again next week. Oh, almost forgot. Could I have one class representative, and send me email so I could communicate with class? Right. First, I need to. I want to email you the lecture notes. Or you want photocopies?
Email.
You want photocopies?
Email.
Photocopies, because if you have to print, it costs you a lot of money.
Both.
Sorry?
Both.
Why both? When you buy textbook, you load online as well?
Yeah.
You do both?
Yeah.
Yeah? You do that?
Yeah.
What for?
We can search.
You can't control F to find it.
You can search in the textbook.
Okay, so I give you email then. Go to Control F. Yeah, I can see the economics of Control F. I absolutely agree. Okay, give me class rep. Please, class rep, just send me email. So I have your email. Right? I can email you the lecture notes, and you can circulate lecture notes among class. Okay. Or you don't want to have class rep. I asked Fla to email you.
Actually, people are always has always.
Okay, that's fine. If you want to do it through this mechanism, that's fine.
หรือว่า
I just
เรา
ask.
ก็ได้
Up to you.
So it's gonna be me better.
Up to you. Up to you. Up to you.
Shut it down.